Welcome to Allie's Attic Show, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a singer-songwriter full of passion from Texas. Please welcome Brandon Chase. Hello, Brandon.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, I know all about you. I know all about your songs because I've listened and listened and listened. Um, so, first off, thank you so much for coming on. I totally appreciate it. Um, Secondly, tell me when you decided, you know what, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, for me, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it, and thanks for putting a spotlight on some new artists and people who are just trying to make it in this crazy competitive arena of music. So thank you for that.
You're
Giving
welcome.
us a platform.
Anytime.
But yeah, but I got started in music when I was about 13 years old, and I kind of grew up not really being musical at all. Nobody in my immediate family is musical. No one plays any instruments or anything, except my sister used to get piano lessons when she was younger. She can kind of dink around a little bit, but she kind of forgot everything that she had learned from when she was younger. Um, but I have some aunt and uncles who are really into music, and some cousins, and I always saw them growing up and listening to them play, and I always thought it was really awesome. But I just kind of always, thought that that wasn't my thing because I couldn't really carry a tune and couldn't play anything, and one day I was actually in church in my youth group, and I just had an experience that was just really life changing. And um, for whatever reason, I just felt like I was supposed to audition for my church worship team, and I had no idea what else to audition to do because, like I said, I didn't play any instruments, I didn't sing or anything. But I just couldn't shake this feeling like I was supposed to audition for the youth band and to have some kind of part in that. And it was literally they had like an open audition, and I went in holding a pair of drumsticks because I was gonna get on the drums because I figured I can just kind of bang around on that. And it can't be too bad. There's not any like notes that you can mess up or anything like that. Um, so I was kind of sitting there in the in the seats, just kind of waiting for my turn and letting everybody else go ahead of me because I was so nervous. They're like, "Oh, you're so sweet. Thanks for letting me go." Like thinking that I'm being like considerate and really nice, but really I was just freaking out because I had no idea what was about to happen when I got on the stage. And finally, I was the last one left, so I couldn't let anybody else go for me. And I just got up there. I actually put the drumsticks down, and I just said, I'm gonna sing. It's like, well, what song are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I'll just do the one that the girl right before me just did because that's fresh in my mind. So let's just run with that. And so she's like, all right, well, what key do you want it in? And I was like, what do you mean, what key? Like, I want like that song. Like, I didn't even know like what that even meant. Like, what do you mean different? Like, what key do I want it in? Like I'm just singing "How Great Thou Art," or whatever the song was.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, okay, well, let's try, G or whatever, and ended up, singing that song, and who knows how terrible it probably was, but that leader at the time um, saw something, I believe, and gave me a chance and gave me a spot on the worship team, and I just immediately fell in love with music, and I just kind of knew, like, from that moment, like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I just really dove in head first and immediately started teaching myself how to play piano and writing songs. And as soon as I learned a new chord on the piano, I would incorporate it into the song, and just continually just trying to get better and to learn new things. And eventually I started playing guitar, and I had a couple friends who really helped me out in that. Um, at the beginning stages, it was so difficult because my fingers were bleeding; they're hurting so bad.
Oh.
I was like, this is literally impossible. There's no way I'll ever be able to play guitar. And I'm just like, every time I pick it up, I just pray, like, God, just like, if I can just find the basic chords to just be able to play, whatever songs, like, that's like, I'll be happy. And I've come a long way since then, and
Yeah.
it's been really cool to be able to have some musical knowledge, and just not just play songs, but like really feel them, and to be able to know actually what I'm doing, but rather than just like, I don't know, like playing and not having a clue what the key meant, and and all that stuff. So just taking a theory and all that kind of stuff along the way, I'm much farther along than I ever planned to be and never thought I would be. But it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of time, and I'm just I'm grateful for the journey, and it all came from that drive of just like I guess having to kind of catch up because I didn't grow up doing it. Kind of started a little late, and I just kind of threw myself into it and decided in those first few moments of like, man, this is what I want to do.
And thank God you did. Now you've gone to when you were 17, you graduated from Berklee College of Music, which I
did.
Yeah, that must have taught you a lot of cool things. I wished I could have gone. I don't play instruments or sing. I just want to go to Berklee College of Music. So then you fully embraced songwriting and performing as your full-time career.
I did, yeah. I definitely learned so much from my classes at Berklee. Kind of really before I started taking classes from Berklee, I was really just writing worship songs and like CCM type music, because I was, like I said, like that's where I started, was in the church, and
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the extent of where my music went and where it was until I started taking classes at Berklee, and it kind of opened up my eyes and my mind and my music ability to just a whole new area. And I started writing other types of songs, and eventually that led to country music, and I just fell in love with the songwriting of country music. And I knew that those are the kind of songs I wanted to write, songs that really related to people, the songs that have meaning and weight, and just really great, positive, and I don't know, challenging songs. There's a lot of incredible songs in country music. And, whether it's sad or happy or party or whatever, like even like the songs that aren't saying a whole lot, to me, that they're still saying a lot. And in this world of like all the pop stuff where half the things you hear, they don't make any sense. At the end of the day, country music, it always still makes sense.
And they all sound the same. I love country music. Love country music. I grew up on country music. The first radio station I ever worked at was a country music radio station, and that's when it started switching, when Faith Hill came in, Tim McGraw, you know what I mean? All those country artists. Then it was just like, awesome. Wow. So in 2013, you took a huge step and decided to go onto the national stage and performed on the NBC's The Voice.
I did, and that was quite the experience. It was definitely it was a whole nother world. Going from performing at local coffee shops and venues like House of Blues and that kind of thing around the Dallas area where I'm from, and to take from a crowd of 30 people or so to a crowd of
millions,
technically millions, being on TV, it was definitely one of the most it definitely wasn't the most nerve-wracking experience of my life. Each time I stepped on the stage, I was literally shaking until the very last moment, and even while I was even singing the song, I was still like shaking.
Yeah. I couldn't
really hold it
imagine.
together.
It would be,
Kind of one of those things like,
yeah, it'd be scary.
I wish I had the ability to like really like reel in those emotions and like just do what I do, just sing and just not worry about anything else. Because I could have done a lot better.
Well,
it's one of those things. It's an experience you can't prepare yourself for.
No,
really,
not at all.
Actually there.
Yeah, like it would scare me.
For it. Like
it's just boom. Yeah, it's just all of a sudden you're there and you're singing in front of not only millions, you're singing in front of 4 amazing stars, and you ended up being on Blake Shelton's. You secured a spot on Blake Shelton's team. So he definitely saw something in you, and he was right because you're amazing. That's my biggest crush. Everybody that listens to my show knows I'm in love with Blake Shelton. Completely in love with Blake Shelton. And he obviously, like I said, he saw something in you, so that's why you ended up on his team. Now, how long were you on The Voice, Brandon?
Yeah, so I think they've I haven't really been watching the past couple seasons, so I'm pretty sure they have kind of changed the format a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on it, they had the blind auditions, and then the battle rounds, and then knockouts, and then the live shows.
Okay.
Now I think there's like 2 sets of battle rounds, 2 sets of knockouts, something like that. But,
yeah, there's a whole bunch of saves.
So,
oh yeah, it's crazy now.
yeah, they keep adding like different things that they can do with the button and all that stuff, and trying to keep it interesting. But so I made it on Blake's team from the blind audition, and then I won the battle round, and then I lost in the knockout round right before the live shows, and I actually lost to my roommate at the time, who's Austin Jinx, who has one of my favorite voices.
Mm-hmm.
So it was either way. Even if I would have won that round, it would have been a sad day still, because like I said, me and Austin were roommates, and we had gotten close over the show,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just kind of a bad situation all around to have to go against each other.
Yeah, no kidding. I watched it, just so you know. I've watched The Voice since it started. I don't watch TV. That's the only show I watch. And the reason I fell in love with it, not just because of Blake, is because they judge you on your voice and your voice alone. They're sitting with their back to you. And I think if you're going to have a reality show, because at the end of the day, it is a reality show. If you're going to have a reality show where you are judging people on their singing abilities, it should be all about their voice. So that's why I love this show. And they go above and beyond. Like, I'm sure Blake gave you a lot of good ideas that you took with you after leaving. And yeah, that would have been hard. And I love Austin too. So I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
After gaining massive exposure from the show, you actually moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and then you released your first country single, One.
I did, yeah. It's hard to believe it's already been like, 4 years or so since I released that song. But yeah, it was a great experience, because coming off the show, having some good exposure, and actually took that single to country radio, and I got to meet a lot of really awesome people. Some of the radio DJs are just the coolest people out there,
Mm-hmm.
and just was able to make some really cool connections through a couple different events, like CRS, which is Country Radio Seminar, that's held here in Nashville, and through the release, I got to kind of travel around and do a little bit of a radio tour, which was really cool to get to go into these different radio stations and play for them, and get to hear my song on the radio, which was awesome. And, it's an experience the first time that I heard it. I'll never forget that. I was actually in California on a radio tour, and that's where I heard it for the first time, and just kind of freaked out on the drive, and it was just really cool to hear something that you created, and something that's near and dear to your heart, and it's getting played on the airwaves for however many thousands of people to hear. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, I would imagine it's surreal. Now, it found its way onto the Billboard charts, and which says it all, because I love the song, and being able to chart on the Billboard charts says a lot about the ability of the song and you. So congratulations on that. Now,
Thank you.
You're welcome. You've performed at various colleges, venues from coast to coast, to securing a major label songwriting cuts in the US and Canada. So do you write for other people? Is that what that is?
I do, yeah. So pretty much, 3 to 5 days a week, I'm in a room with usually two other people, and we're writing. And sometimes it's for me, but the majority of times it's for other people because obviously I can't record a couple hundred songs that I write throughout the year for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the songs that I write, it's just kind of go into the room without thinking of like, well, I really want to write this for me. I just kind of go into the room, with an idea or like a title or some kind of music arrangement that I really like. And I'm just kind of trying to write the best possible song that I can. Whether it fits me or it fits someone else. And that's kind of the way I approach it. And if it works for me, great. But if it could possibly work for someone else, that's equally great. I would definitely want to be considered, a songwriter, not just an artist, or not just a singer. I want to be considered a songwriter, and I'd love to have other people record my songs because writing is so important to me, and I think there's validation in someone else recognizing a song that you created and something that they can connect to as well, and record it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it spoke to them in the way that when you're writing it, you hope that it speaks to someone. So
yeah, well, and songwriting, yeah, exactly. Songwriting is so powerful. It blows my mind, as well as I'm sure everybody else, that you can hear a song on the radio and it totally relates to something that you're going through, have gone through, whatever the case may be. It's just songwriters to me are just amazing. And I think you have to stop and realize too that we've all gone through the same kind of thing, and we're all human, and we all go through breakups and falling in love and getting married, and whatever the case may be. You do it well. I'm just saying. Now, has anybody, like, I guess I don't know if you can say, but has there been any major star that has decided to use one of your songs, or not yet?
So I've had a couple different songs that have been placed on hold, and what that means is basically, they listen to, a lot of times, big artists, they'll listen to, I don't know, a couple hundred songs or so,
Mm-hmm.
and sent from all over, sent from different publishers, different, even labels, and they have writers signed to their labels and publishing companies, and they'll pitch out songs that they think fit other artists, such as like Blake Shelton or Kenny Chesney, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And when the song gets put on hold, that basically just means that they're really interested in the song and basically saying like, hey, we have dibs on it, so don't send it to anybody else because, if I decide I want to record it, like, I don't have to worry about someone else having gotten it before I had the chance to.
Ah, okay.
So, and they do that, depending on who the artist is. Sometimes they'll hold 40 or 50 songs for their 12-song record, and sometimes they'll hold, 20 to 30. It just kind of depends. But I've had several holds with some pretty big artists that, was pretty exciting, like Carrie Underwood and Kenny Chesney. But unfortunately, didn't make the record. But even just like the hold and just that, brief possibility of it happening, it's definitely like a rewarding feeling, and there's validation in that because you go, well, if they're even interested in the slightest after they've heard however many songs, possibly a couple hundred by some of the best writers in town, it just feels good. It feels like you're being recognized, and sometimes that's just as good almost as actually getting on. But I think eventually, hopefully, it'll happen. It'll become more hold and get some cuts from some really big artists. But yeah, last year I got a cut on Humphrey's album Timeless, and that was a pretty cool cut because they're an acapella group and they're signed to Sony Records, and it's just so different and unique because they are an acapella group and there's no music, and they just create it all with their mouth, which is just crazy and cool. Like you can literally hear drums. It's not drums; it's somebody beatboxing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, not a lot of people can say that they've had their song like even just sung by an acapella group. So it's really cool to have a song on their record, and they do a lot of touring, and they have a good social media presence. So it's been cool to kind of see some of their fans kind of cross over and start listening to some of my music because they heard a song that I wrote on their album.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be really cool to hear a cappella when basically when you write a song, you're writing a song for, instruments and the whole shebang. So then when
Right,
somebody takes it,
you have the music and everything written and played out, and then you hear it like in a completely different way because it's all voices. But
yeah,
it's something really cool and unique.
it is. Yeah. That's awesome. Now you're starting to make a name for yourself, obviously. I mean, your social media has blown up. You are doing, you have so many fans, Brandon. It's just crazy. And your new EP titled Discovery Sessions Volume 1 is going to be available everywhere. When?
On April 6th.
So in a couple days.
So it is a couple days, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came on before it was released. So now we can tease everybody because they better go out and buy it because it's amazing. There's 2 songs. I'm babbling. I think you're amazing. Period. Like I said, I go and listen to you on Instagram, and I encourage everybody to follow Brandon on Twitter, Instagram. I love your Instagram. You're on Facebook too, right?
Yes.
And we'll talk about your website in a couple of minutes. But yeah, follow him. Now, because you've been doing this for so long, and because you're kind of doing 2 aspects, you're doing the singer part, but you're also doing the songwriter part, and not necessarily for you, which I think is absolutely cool, and I think everybody should do. What kind of advice do you think you'd give somebody out there that's doing this right now, Brandon, or just starting out, basically?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that I've learned, and there's a lot of things I'm still learning, obviously, and a lot of things that I have to learn in the future. But some things that I've picked up on over the course of this journey that I've been on is that you're as long as you stick with it and you just keep doing what you love, if you love it,
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to keep getting better. And you have to kind of recognize where you're at in your journey and be okay with it. When I first started, like I was telling you earlier, my fingers were bleeding and it was hurting, and I was like, this is impossible. I'll never learn guitar. Like, I'll never be good at it. I might be able to play some basic chords, but I'll never be good at it. But I kept working and I kept doing it, and eventually and slowly, because it didn't come super easily,
Mm-hmm.
but slowly over time I got better and better. And it's been the same with every other aspect of music as well, with my singing, with my songwriting, with all of it. And there's many times where I felt like, well, I know I'm ready now. Like, because I look back from where I was a year before then and where I was in that moment, and I was going, well, I know I'm ready now. Like, my songwriting is good now, and it's, I'm at a good place. And in all reality, I wasn't ready yet. And I can say the same thing today. I'm like, wow, I was not ready a year ago, but I'm ready now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure in a year from now, I'm going to look back and go, man, I thought I was ready then, but I still wasn't really ready. I was still growing, because you're continually growing in your gifts, and that's a good thing. It's good to continue to grow. And I think even the biggest artists out there, they're still growing, and they're just continuing to get better, because you become seasoned as you continue to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get better in your songwriting, you get better in your performing, your voice grows in depth and range and everything, as long as you stick with it. And there's a lot of people who don't want to put in the work, and a lot of people who get discouraged when people say no. They say that you're not ready. And I think a lot of times creative people, like, we search for validation, and that's a lot of times why we do this thing of music, because it's an outlet for us and a place where we can find validation. And affirmation, and to be able to take criticism and to be able to take a no and go, okay, well, I understand that. Like, maybe I'm not ready right now, but I'm going to continue to work hard, and hopefully one day I can turn all those no's into yeses, and I can prove, if somebody says I'll never make it, like, I'm going to use that as a motivation for me to just want to make it even more, so I can prove those people wrong. And that's kind of the mentality I've had, because I've had a lot of people tell me no, and I've had a lot of people, say things that I wanted to take and just go, okay, well, yeah, maybe it's not for me, and I should just stop doing it. But then I have to continue to remind myself, no, this is what I love to do, and I feel like this is what I'm made for, and I'm going to continue to work hard. And every time someone tells me no, I'm going to work even harder, and I'm just going to make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at. And I think anyone who loves what they're doing and believes in what they're doing, as long as you continue to do it, like, the doors are going to eventually open. You just have to stay patient and continue on the path that you're on, and not let anyone dictate your future.
Wow, that is great advice. It's great advice. And hearing like you again, your fingers were bleeding, and and you're still going strong. And I love you. I think you're amazing. I think you should be up there with Carrie Underwood and Kenny Chesney and everybody. I think and you're going to be, because you're so talented. What two songs are we going to hear from you?
So you're going to hear Ghost Town and Make It Look Easy, both off of the brand new EP. It's coming out this Friday.
Mm-hmm. So everybody gets a little tease.
So, really, really excited about it. Finally just getting new music out for people to listen to, and hopefully people will enjoy it. And there's a lot more to come. So
yeah,
I'm really excited to just kind of see the response from people.
It's going to be huge. Trust me. I've heard the two songs, obviously. It's going to, if this doesn't put you on the map, like, I don't know, but you're going to do, it's a great album. Well, the two songs I've heard anyway are just amazing. And I'm excited that you came on just before it was released, and everybody's going to get a chance worldwide to hear it if they go to the website and listen to the two songs. So that's kind of cool. I just wanted to ask, are you going to the CMA Fest this year in Nashville?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm in town, so I was able to go and kind of walk around a little bit last year. I don't have any shows booked at the moment, but hopefully I can jump on something kind of last minute. I did a couple years ago, and CMA Fest is such an incredible experience, because it's just country music fans from all over, and it just feels like this huge family reunion. Everyone is just here to listen to new music and listen to some of their favorite artists, and some to discover some new artists. So it's one of those things that, as long as I'm in town, like, I'm definitely going to be there, because it's just so I don't know. It's like it refuels you. It's kind of gives you energy and gives you a boost and motivation to just continue to work hard, because of all the amazing fans who just love country music like you do.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get there this year. So hopefully you will get a chance to perform, and I'll get to watch you. If not, I'm definitely going to let you know where I'm going to be, because I would love to meet you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I know, and I know a lot of people that are going, and I've never been. My bucket list has Nashville in it, and I've never gone, and I want to go. Yeah, I'm definitely going. I am going to let you go. You can purchase Brandon's music everywhere online, as well as his website, BrandonChaseMusic.com. I urge everybody to listen to these two songs and buy his EP when it comes out on Friday. You will not be sorry. It is amazing. He's amazing. And Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And again, thank you for just having the platform for new artists, and like a delivery system and a way for people to discover new music and to support upcoming artists. So thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website, because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.